Very good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss about Hospital Research and Ethics Committee. In hospital, we have many professional committees. The first very important committee we were studied deeply about Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee. The active role of pharmacist is there in Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee. And apart from this, Infection and Control Committee we discussed. This also pharmacist role is there. It's very important. He has to take part in antimicrobial stewardship, everything. And like that, we have many other committees, professional committees functioning in hospital to take care in the patients and avoid medication errors. With this aim, many committees are functioning. One important committee in this pharmacist also taking role is Hospital Research and Ethics Committee. Research and Ethics Committee may be called by a different name, Institutional Review Board or Institutional Ethical Committee. Like that, we are giving different names. Research and Ethics Committee is a committee that has been formally designated to approve, monitor, and review biomedical behavioral research involving humans with the aim to protect the rights and welfare of the research subject. In hospitals, there is permission for conducting research among the patients. For that research, to monitor the research, to approve such research activities, and to review such progressing research activities going on in hospital. For that purpose, we have a committee. Why we need a committee to regularize all these? Because there are many violations in the previous history. So to avoid such unnecessary harm to the human subjects, those who enroll in this kind of research activities, to safeguard their rights, we need a committee to review. So we appointed experts from various levels, and we are going to review such activities taking place in hospital. Introduction about this ethical committee. The ethics and scientific standards for carrying out biomedical research on human subjects have been developed and established in international guidelines. That was the initiation. The first initiation started in the form of Declaration of Helsinki. This Declaration of Helsinki suggested various principles, ethical principles that need to be followed during clinical research when you are enrolling a human subject. The main concept of Declaration of Helsinki is we have to give more importance to the rights, privacy, safety of human subjects enrolled, and then we have to give secondary importance to the scientific interest of the research findings. So primary importance is health, welfare, health and safety welfare of human subjects enrolled. Like that, the CIOMS, International Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical, is also very popular guidelines internationally followed. Research involving human subjects and that is CIOMS. That World Health Organization and ICH guidelines also prescribes good clinical practices, that is also internationally followed. Like that, national level guidelines also there. ICMR guidelines we are following in India. Ethical guidelines for biomedical research on human subject is very clearly stated. Based on international guidelines, we formulated that. Like that, the Indian good clinical practices guidelines also there. That is called the CDSCO guidelines. CDSCO guidelines. Principles of precaution, risk minimization states that due care and caution must be taken at all stages of research to ensure that research participants and those affected by it, including community, are put to minimum risk, suffer from known irreversible adverse effects. That means when you are enrolling in a human subject, we should have extreme care on the safety and well-being of the human subject. There will be risk that should be very minimum to the human subject, and if any adverse reactions, it should be a reversible one, can be treated and cured, like that. So that much extreme care is necessary. Then only we can allow human participants to enroll in such studies. A cardinal principle of research involving human participant is Respect for the dignity of person. We should not think that they are participants of the study. Like animals, we cannot treat human subjects with respect, with their privacy that should be maintained, secured, and their data, everything should be secured. And if any problem, anything arises, proper compensation and necessary actions to be taken on that. So that is only called a respect for the dignity of person. All guidelines require the ethical and scientific review of biomedical research alongside informed consent. That means we have to take their preliminary approval that I read and understood that research is safe to me, and I'm very much clear in this point of view. I'm voluntarily taking part in this research. Like that, they have to give informed consent document. Then only we should enroll human subjects into the study. Okay, purpose of the committee in hospital. The committee is established principally for the purpose of checking whether the proposals submitted for research meets established guidelines. So far we have seen various guidelines, internationally and nationally followed guidelines to safeguard the safety and rights of human subjects enrolled. When we are enrolling any subject for research, for example, studying the cognitive behavior of patients admitted in this hospital having hypertension, hypertension, and hypertension and diabetes. For example, you are taking a topic for study to study the cognitive behavior of the patients admitted in the inpatient ward. So then, if you are submitting this proposal to the Research and Ethics Committee, then in various point of view, it will be discussed with experts, and they will find out that the purpose of the study is anyway disturb the patients, whether anyway harm to the patients, or otherwise the findings are useful to the mankind. Like that, in various point of view, it will be analyzed. That the approval will be given. That is the purpose of this committee. Mission statement of the committee. The committee must start with an open statement on its aim and objectives. It is very clearly, it should be circulated among the staff of the hospital. It is to review this, we have to review this mission statement periodically, because time to time there are many updations taking place in this field. So we have to review. The following could form the heads under which the details can be entered. The mission and aim objective of this committee should be in these three headings only. Care of the patient in this institution is the primary objective. Research is the another objective, and education of the staff on biomedical ethics is the another objective. So we have to ensure the safety benefits of the human subject. For that purpose only we have to do any research. Second one is we have to do research and we have to update our knowledge. Third one is we have to educate from the learnings. We have to give new guidelines, update our guidelines to the hospital authorities to improve therapeutic effect. Okay. This IRB, Institutional Review Board, Ethical Review Board, or Research Ethics Committee, these are the different names we are giving this for this committee, which is functioning in hospital throughout the globe. It is an independent body constituted of medical staff, non-medical staff, scientific staff, and non-scientific members, whose responsibility is to ensure the protection of the rights, safety, and well-being of human subjects involved in the trial by, among other things, reviewing, approving, providing continuing review of trial protocol and amendment. These are the various jobs of this committee. Primary importance is we have to review in various way the safety and well-being of the human subjects enrolled in the study. Secondary importance is giving continuously review this research work, whether it is going on as per the protocol which is submitted to us or what. Approving in every stage by stage approval will be given. Providing continuous reviewing, from the beginning to end, continuously, periodically reviewing the work, and protocol modifications, if anything required, that will be approved, and any changes in between, that will be approved. So that is the job of ethical committee, research and ethical committee. Important thing we have to note this here is it is an independent body. Even though it is functioning in the same hospital where the research is going on, it is no way connected to the research. It is totally independent. And one more thing we have to note that it is not only having members with experts of the research and medical team. There may be membership. There is a membership for non-medical staff also, non-scientific members, and also common laymen also taking part in this committee meetings. Structure of research and ethics committee. The composition will be like this: multidisciplinary and multi-sectorial in composition. Number of persons minimum 8, maximum 12. And chairperson should preferably be from outside the institution to maintain the independence of the committee. So he never be paid by this institution, never connected in any way professionally to this institution. So he will be totally from outside and only act as a chairperson for ethical committee whenever there is an research proposals for approval. The committee meetings will be called at the time only he will come to this institution. That is chairperson. Member secretary from same institution should conduct the business of the committee. It may be from the medical staff. One person, one senior person will be selected as a member secretary for research and ethics committee. This member secretary, he or she will be coordinating the entire progress of arranging meeting, collecting proposals, coordinating members. All activities will be done by this member secretary. Member secretary is from the same institution where the committee is formed. Other members of the committee. The composition of the committee will be like this: one chairperson, a senior person, expert in ethics and biomedical research, and one or two basic medical scientists from different disciplines, one or two clinicians from various institutes, not from this same institution, from other places, one legal expert or a retired judge, so representative from a legal, from a lawyer, one legal after that, one social scientist, representative of non-government voluntary agency, who are social activists involving in functioning to safeguard the rights of patients under clinical trial. So such persons will be selected for this post. One philosopher, ethist, or theologian. So those who are continuously monitoring the safety and well-being of the patients enrolled in medical trials, and well-wishers of the social activists, well-wishers of the patients or poor patients continuously in treatment. Such persons will be selected for this. One lay person, not at all connected to any scientific interest of this topic under discussion. One common man will be selected who is connected to the patient community will be selected for this. And one member secretary from the medical field, one person will be selected from the same institution to coordinate all the functions and to organize the meeting and to prepare agenda for the meeting. There must be at least two senior persons complementing and supplementing each other. Two senior persons must be there to review in various way the safety and well-being of the patients enrolled, or the research proposal submitted there. They should preferably belong to different disciplines. Both the senior people will be from the different discipline of the medical field. It is also essential to ensure representative of administration, the hospital administration, clinicians from medical, surgical, and other disciplines, basic sciences, any life sciences people, and social workers, nurses and pharmacists, because we are handling many investigational investigational new drugs. So about the storage conditions, safety, toxicity studies, and formulation related details. So we need knowledge of pharmacists here. Rehabilitation personnel, priest and philosopher, lawyers, statisticians, so all will be take part in this committee meetings as well. Research Ethics Committee should establish standard operating procedures. So they have to have a standard procedures. How many months once the meeting should be conducted? How many minimum number of members should attend a meeting? And what are the importance to be given while reviewing research protocols? How much duration it should be taken? Like that, there are many standard operating procedures are there. So that should be followed in all the meetings. How the standard operating procedures will be made means the functions and duties of the ethical committee that should be very clearly planned in the beginning itself. Membership requirements, who are all the members, how they should be selected, the criteria. The terms of appointment, whom should appoint, how the payment should be given to the members, all these details. The condition of appointment, how many years they have to be in contact, their service will be. The offices, where the meeting should be conducted. Internal procedures, if any, how the circulars, filing procedures, meeting schedules, like that, internal procedures. The quorum requirement, how many minimum number of members should be available to take a decision in the meeting. Okay. Then subcommittees. Many of the time, one single committee cannot manage all the activities, research activities taking place in the hospital. So, for our proper monitoring and extreme care, we need subcommittees also. Subcommittees will be formulated with by considering three principal goals. That is, we have three principal goals. One is patient care, second one is research, third one is education of faculty and other personnel. So depends on the goal, we can have subcommittees. The subcommittees will monitor only according to the goal assigned. Patient care subcommittees will take care how the progress of research is going on, how the care of the patient, any problem, anything found. Like that only. Research means whether the protocol is followed as per the submitted protocol, any deviation is there, any adverse reaction newly reported, anything. Approval of the research in every stage, like that the subcommittee will deal. Education and training of the faculty. So the obtained knowledge will be communicated to the faculty in the form of many seminars, workshops, like that. It will be conducted and trained. Subcommittees are formed to meet above three goals. Functions of institutional ethical committee or research ethics committee functioning in the hospital. We will see one by one what are the various functions. One is to provide competent review of all ethical aspects of the project. So the research projects which are going to be conducted in this hospital, first it will be prepared in a proper protocol format. It will be submitted to the committee. It will be reviewed, scientific review committee, and it will be accepted accordingly for review under ethical committee. Then it provides competent review of all ethical aspects. Helsinki Declaration given what are the various ethical principles need to be considered. So as per the guidelines, we will review whether it increases the cost of the treatment, whether any unnecessary exposure to toxic materials here, unnecessary harm is given to the patients by drawing blood, by any painful procedures, everything followed, like that the ethical principles will be undertaking review free from bias and influence. So this is a totally independent committee, no way related to the hospital and the research people. So without bias and influence, the decisions will be taken. and then provide advice to the researchers on all aspects of welfare, safety of research participants. So, how modifications can be done in this research in a suitable way to avoid harm to the patients, that suggestions will be given here. To protect dignity, rights, well-being of the potential research participants. So that will be assessed in various way, whether the privacy is maintained, their rights were given, anytime whether they can withdraw and go from the research if they don't want, whether the compensation will be paid or not. All these details will be discussed there. To ensure universal ethical values and international scientific standards in terms of local community values and customs. So international guidelines and local guidelines are there, whether all are followed or what, that will be verified. To assist in the development and the education of research community responsive to local healthcare requirements, that suggestions will be provided there. Whether the research is useful to the mankind or what. Anyway, it will be applied to improve the current system of medical practices, that will be assessed. So these are the various functions of the committee. Submission of application of research committee to research to the research ethical committee. What is the procedure? First, trial protocol. We have to prepare a protocol. Protocol on standard format is there. So, what is the title? Overall, the research personnel, their contact details, and then in the protocol, in detailed introduction, why it is necessary, why this research is important, and detailed procedure or of every experimental procedures to be given in detail, and how many number of participants are going to be enrolled. What is the inclusion exclusion criteria you are going to follow? What are the risks associated with this? What are the compensations we are going to pay? Like that, information will be given in detail. That is called a protocol. So that will be submitted. Second one is the patient information sheet and informed consent form and translations. Informed consent form. When you are enrolling a patient, we will give informed consent form in their common language, in their local language. Translated versions will be given to the patients. If they are illiterate, we will read and explain to them in the simple form. So they have to understand that this work is no way harm to them, safe only, and can help the scientists to do research, and also they are providing so treatment also, like that. That information should be passed to the patient with their own willingness, with their voluntarily they have to take part in this study. So that information, what we are going to give to the patients, that will be reviewed by ethical committee. So that translated versions will be submitted. Investigator brochure. This is the information brochure submitted to the scientific community involved in this study, researchers. So researchers, some knowledge will be updated before enrolling into the study, because about the drug they don't know anything. This is a new drug. This is an investigational drug. So there, whatever details we have collected from animal study, that all will be given to the scientist in the form of investigator brochure. So what it states about the toxicity, safety precautionary measures, and dosage, and formulation and physiochemical properties of the substance, the stability, storage conditions, all will be given. Information will be given there. Principal investigator, current CV, their contact details, what is their experience prior, like that information. Insurance policy, compensation for participants, investigator agreement with the sponsor. These all details should be submitted for review. Review of project, how it will be done. All research proposals must conform to standard scientific and ethical guidelines. So all guidelines will be matched and seen. Scientific evaluation should be completed before ethical evaluation. That means uh, first protocol will be reviewed by scientific committee only in scientific point of view, whether the research can be accepted or what, whether any way benefit is there or what, any modifications required or what. If anything modification required, that will be communicated to the researchers, and they will modify accordingly and submit them. Then it will be accepted for review by ethical committee. This ethical committee will review in ethical point of view whether it is safe to the patients enrolled, anyway useful to the mankind, or any modifications suggested required can be approved in this present form. That will be reviewed. Evaluate possible risk to the subjects with proper justification. If there will be risk, so how this risk can be accepted, how we can justify that it is minimum. In 100 number of patients, how many number of patients, percentage of patients will be chances to get affected, whether it is permanent problem or curable. So like that point of view, it will be discussed. Expected benefits to the mankind by approving this research. What is the benefit of the mankind? Whether it is useful to the local community, those who engage in this research or not. This all point of view will be discussed. Adequacy of documentation for ensuring privacy, confidentiality, and justice issues that will be discussed. Primary importance will be given for that. Privacy of the patients enrolled, confidentiality of the details. Until unless it is required due to any legal proceedings, it won't be openly stated to anyone. The responsibilities, who are responsible for the confidential data, that will be given there. The ethical review should be done through formal meeting and should not resort to decisions through circulars or proposals. The decisions are preferably arrived at by consensus. So that will be communicated to the research community. Okay. The review of research proposals that we continue in the next class. Up to now, we were discussed about what is ethics committee, what is the role of ethics committee in hospital, what are the memberships, how the members are selected from different disciplines, and what are the different names in which we call research and ethics committee, why this committee is necessary, and how the meetings are conducted, how the subcommittees are functioning, what are the various functions in which the committee involves to review the research proposal submitted to them. Okay, thanks for joining, and I'll stop this recording now.